Today we are going to discuss Mauryan Empire. Actually, in the last class we discussed the political history of the Mauryans and also in the Mauryan rulers like first Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka. These three great rulers we already discussed, and also sources of the Mauryan history also discussed. This Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka, these three comes under the political history of the Mauryans. Political history of the Mauryans. Political history useful for the only Staff Selection Commission RRB like minor exams. Whereas coming to the point of the civils, APPSC Group 1, Group 2, TSPSC Group 1, Group 2, SI Constable, like these examinations, you need to go somewhat depth other than the political history. You have to go to the cultural history, social conditions, economical conditions, political conditions. So questions may occur from other than the political history. Once upon a time, questions are coming directly from the political history. Now the trend of the question paper has been changed. This trend of the question paper, they are going to give the questions from the either society or economical conditions or religious conditions, art and architecture. So they are going to concentrate in these areas present. Even though it is a SI examination, or even though it is a constable examination, or even though it is a group 3, group 4 examinations, like that, all the examinations, they are going to give the questions in different way. So, but whereas if you come to the point of the Staff Selection Commission, RRB, like these examinations, directly they are going to ask questions from political history. Now, in the last classes we completed sources of the Mauryans and also political history of the Mauryans. Now, we can come across to the decline of Mauryan Empire. Mauryan Empire is the first great historical empire in India, established in the Magadha region, that is capital from the Pataliputra, established by the Chandragupta Maurya with the help of Kautilya. And during the Chandragupta Maurya period, he went to the Karnataka. That indicates his empire extended up to the Karnataka region. Bindusara, he was called as Amitragata and slayer of the fews. According to many evidences, he ruled the area between two seas, that is Arabian Sea and also Bay of Bengal. Between these two seas, he ruled the kingdom. Bindusara period. We know that Ashoka period, there was only one kingdom left to occupy, that was the Kalinga. He also occupied that Kalinga. After the battle of Kalinga, Ashoka, he completely left the wars. Ashoka followed the policy of Dhamma. So this was the basics of political history of the Chandragupta Maurya to Bindusara. After the death of the Ashoka, started the decline of Mauryan Empire. And what are the causes for the decline of Mauryan Empire? Coming to these causes. Chandragupta Maurya, he ruled from 321 BC to 298 BC. And Bindusara, he ruled from 298 BC to 273 BC. Ashoka, he ruled from 269 BC to 232 BC. Almost these three rulers, they completed nearly 90 years rule. These three completed 90 years rule. After these three, just Mauryan Empire continued only 50 years. 90 years ruled Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara and Asoka. But after the death of the Asoka, the mighty Mauryan Empire continued only 50 years. That means around 185 BC, it started to decline. It declined completely. So after that, after the Asoka, why the Mauryan Empire started to decline? There are many causes to discuss. First and foremost one is, we can come across the first and foremost one, and also the most important thing, Brahmanical reaction. Brahmanical reaction towards the kingship, towards the king. So this began as a result of the Asoka's policy. What Asoka followed? He followed the policy of Dhamma. Asoka's Dhamma policy, it was also similar to the Buddhism. And Asoka's personal religion was Buddhism. The personal religion of Asoka was Buddhism. Even before the Asoka's period, Chandragupta Maurya, he followed Jainism. He patronized Jainism and he followed Jainism. Bindusara, he followed Ajivika sect. Whereas Asoka, Buddhism. Even after the Asoka's period, Dasaratha, he also followed Ajivika sect. Like this, most of the Mauryan rulers, they followed other than Vedic religion, other than the Brahmanical religion. So they gave importance on the idea of the common people. They gave importance to the Jainism, Buddhism, Ajivikism than the Brahmanical religion. And Asoka, whenever he came to the throne, after the Kalinga war in 261 BC, on the name of the Dhamma policy of Asoka, he abandoned to celebrate ceremonies. And he did not advise to celebrate the ceremonies. He also objected to the dogmas of Indian Hindu religious practices. On the mind of the Asoka, on the view of the Asoka, all these are the waste, unproductive works. Rituals and cults are the unproductive works. He advised to stop the rituals and cults. Whenever he advised to stop the rituals and cults, definitely this will be affected by the Brahman family. So Brahman family, it will be affected the Brahman's income, regular income. Brahmins are completely depending upon the celebration of the festivals. And what is that? Rituals and cults. Whenever Asoka, he banned that, he gave stroke on the income of the Brahmins. That's why Brahmins, they started enmity of the antipathy against the Asoka. Even after the Asoka's period, successors of the Asoka also did not patronize the Brahmins. They also gave importance to the other than Brahmanical religion. That was one thing. That was the first cause. Next cause, coming to the point of the next cause, financial crisis. This opinion was given by D.D. Kosambi. According to D.D. Kosambi, Mauryan Empire was declined because of the Financial crisis. What is that enormous expenditure of army? Enormous expenditure of army. So they maintained big army. They maintained big army. Army was very big army. They maintained huge army, very huge army. That is according to the foreign sources, 6 lakhs infantry, 30,000 cavalry, 8,000 infantry, 8,000 chariotry. Like that, 4 forces. They maintained 4 forces. And also these people, Mauryans, they are going to give cash and salaries to the army. They are paying salaries to the army from the treasury. They are going to give salaries to the army from the treasury. This point you have to note down. See the clear understanding of the financial crisis, how they are. And payment of the bureaucracy. Not only army, the payment of bureaucracy. Officials also, more officials. They maintained very more officials like Tirthas, Amatyas, Dhamma Mahamatras, Mantris. Different types of the officials are there. Huge bureaucracy, a big bureaucracy. They are paying salary from the treasury also for the bureaucracy. So largest army, giving more salaries to the bureaucracy. All this burden they have to put on the people. So taxes are increased. They have to increase the tax. So Ashoka, coming to the point of the Ashoka period, he also made large grants to the, very large grants to the Buddhist monks, Buddhism. So this left the treasury empty, giving more land grants, more gold coins to the Buddhist monks. Treasury became empty. So in order to meet the expenses, large scale expenses, they have to impose more and more taxes. And also in the final stage, there was one evidence for the meeting of the expenses. They melted images of the gods which were made up of gold. Even gold images were melted for the meeting of the expenses. So financial crisis. After the financial crisis, apprehensive rule. In the apprehensive rule in provinces. Coming to the point of the provinces. Bureaucracy of the provinces. They started cruel policy towards the people. So this started the breakup of the empire. For example, during the time of the Bindusara period, there occurred revolt at Takshila. Ashoka was sent to suppress the revolt at Takshila. People, what they said to the Ashoka? The real problem was not the rule. Here the problem only with bureaucracy, only with the officers, local officers. So they started revolt against the local officers than the rule. This was the main problem. Ashoka went there and he solved the problem. But the same problem existed during the rule of Ashoka. Even during the rule of the Ashoka, the similar problem has been complained. So he started a rotation of the officials for the what is that? Clearing of the apprehensive policies of the officers. Asoka, he made transfers from one place to the another place. More than 5 years, one should not work at one place. So that rule was started by that policy was started by the Asoka to suppress the apprehensive policies of the officers. So this was another cause. Next, coming to the point of the another cause, spread of the new material knowledge. Some new material knowledge spreaded, like they used iron, use of iron. Iron was used more for the cultivation. So whenever iron used more for the cultivation, provinces, they become strong in economically. Provinces economically they became strong. Whenever economically they became strong, they started independency. This was another cause for the material knowledge. Increasing of the material knowledge, spread of new material knowledge was also another cause for the decline of Mauryan Empire. This is one cause. Another one cause is neglect of northwestern frontier. Neglect of northwestern frontier. In India, northwestern frontier always it was facing trouble from the Central Asians. Northwestern frontier. This was the northwestern frontier. This northwestern frontier province, always this is facing trouble from the Central Asians. Different Central Asian tribal people, they are going to enter into the northwestern region from the Khyber Bolan passes. No ruler of the Mauryans taken any measurement to stop the Central Asian tribals. For example, if you go to the Chinese ruler Shi Huangdi, he was from 247 to 208 AD BC. This time he ruled. Almost he was contemporary of the Asoka. He constructed Great Wall of China. Why he constructed Great Wall of China? There occurred a series of attacks on the China from the Scythians. That is from the Scythians. Scythians and Siberians. To protect China from the Scythians and Siberians, he constructed a Great Wall of China. Like these measures were not taken by the Mauryan rulers. There is no similar measures taken by the Mauryans. Thus, a series of invasions occurred to the northwestern frontier provinces from the Central Asian tribals. These Central Asian tribals, they made troubles to the Indian rulers always. Even Gupta Empire was also declined because of the Hunas invasions. Hunas were also Central Asian tribals. So, no Indian ruler, they took measurements to stop the Central Asian tribals. And another important thing, weak successors of Asoka. After the Asoka, the rulers, those who came, they were the weak successors. Either Samprati or Dasaratha, these were weak rulers. Immediately after the death of the Asoka, kingdom divided into two parts. Western kingdom and Eastern kingdom. Like that, kingdom was divided into two parts. And according to the Kalhanas Rajatarangini, Jammu Kashmir also another part of the kingdom. It was divided and it was ruled by the Jaluka. Like that, weak successors. And Romila Thapar, he said that, she also said that she gave another cause, that is highly centralized administrative system. Highly centralized administrative system. Mauryan administrative system was centralized administrative system, that is concentrating power on one hand. Because of that, Asoka, he followed the policy of Dhamma. So Asoka is cause for the decline of Mauryans. Asoka, whenever he followed Dharma, he stopped the military conquest. Whenever he stopped the military conquest, army soldiers, they did not have any practice of war. War practice was absent. They did not went for the war practice. That means war practice almost stopped. Instead of the going to the war practices, people of that period, army officers of that period, they are going to the propagation of dharma propagation. This was one cause. Another one, Asoka, he said to eat only vegetarian. He avoided to take the non-veg. That's why army soldiers, they did not get strengthened. They did not given good food. Because of that, army soldiers become weak structure, weak body structure, and weak power, muscle power. All these were the causes for decline of the Mauryans. So this is what the decline of Mauryans. After the decline of Mauryans, next topic in the Mauryan Empire, we are going to discuss the next topic in the Mauryan Empire, that is administrative system. That we'll discuss in the next video.